Hey guys, it's Annie Margarita Yang with AnnieYangFinancial.com. In the last few months, I've been networking and meeting a lot of people in the real estate and the banking industry. And in having conversations with people, after they have a conversation with me, for some reason, they're extremely impressed by me. I don't know why. But they also check out my CV on LinkedIn and they really like my skill set and my experience. And without me asking, they always want to offer me a job. I always have to explain to them the same story on why I don't want to work another job. Rather than going through that whole spiel, why don't I make a video and just explain that? And then if they want to offer me a job, I can just send them the link to this video so then they can understand why I don't want to work another job. Even if the job that you're offering me is going to pay a lot, like even if you offered me $200,000 or $300,000, all this like crazy amount of money, I don't want another job. The reason why is because I don't work for money. I work because I enjoy my work. Like I have a lot of passion and dedication for my work. Nothing's going to get in the way of that. I'm just like not motivated by money, even though it seems like on this channel, I'm constantly talking about money and I really like money. Money, I think, is just like the end result of what I'm looking for. Let me explain to you what is it that's really driving me. I really love process improvement. For some reason, I don't know why, but when I look at something, a process or a system, I look at it and I think to myself, oh my gosh, this could have like the potential to be something so much better. And I can see all the steps that we could take to get to that potential that I see in my head. At the job that I work now, where I started 2 years ago, in the first 2 weeks of that job, after the end of 2 weeks, I had a list of 10 ideas that I could share with my boss on how we could improve their accounting process. And he was like so stoked. And he said, oh my God, yeah, let's follow through on all of these. And then after all 10 of my ideas were implemented and everything was going great, of course, constantly over the last 2 years, I've always had more and more ideas on how we could improve the processes in the accounting department. And it got to the point where like the accounting department is running so efficiently where I was hired at 40 hours a week, so full time. And now at the same job, I work between 20 to 25 hours a week. I'm being very honest. I work between 20 to 25. I told my boss not to give me more work. I'd rather just keep my workload the same because it's not fair to punish me for being extremely efficient at my job by giving me more work, right? That's not really fair. If I finished my job early, I should just be able to move on with my day. I don't want to be given more work just because I'm quick at what I do. I get paid the same amount of money that I got when I was first hired, but I cut my hours down by almost half. So it's almost like I gave myself a raise without asking for a raise because I got more time instead of more money. Another thing is that I'm just so grateful that my boss had given me the opportunity to have this kind of sandbox. It's almost like he gave me a sandbox at the playground to just play with all the different ideas that I had on how we could improve his company. Instead of trying to implement my ideas for my own company, I could implement it on his and use his company as a testing ground before I fully implement those kind of ideas in my company. I don't have to suffer the financial consequences if my ideas actually don't work out. But there was actually never a time when my ideas never worked out. There were actually no financial consequences for all the things I implemented. And then at some point, I told him that I wanted to improve processes beyond just my own department. Like I had ideas on how we could improve the operation for the entire company, how we could actually improve the culture for this company. I actually wanted to be given more responsibility and maybe a raise to go with it, right? Because of course it was much more responsibility. It's more like a promotion. And he said, absolutely. So I came back to him with a list of 25 ideas on how we could improve the operations of the company along with the culture. And he said my ideas were dynamite, but he just needed some time to take a look over the ideas over the weekend before he could get back to me during our next week's meeting. Next week came and I asked him, what did he think of my ideas? Did he review them over the weekend? Sorry, I didn't have time. Okay, are you gonna review it this weekend? Yes, I will. And this whole thing went on for like 4 weeks. And I thought to myself, like, you know what's really messed up? This isn't even my company, right? These are my ideas for someone else's company. I would think that like if I had an employee working with me who had 25 ideas on how to improve my company, I would be like extremely excited somebody had so much, initiative to want to better my company. Instead of like just letting this list sit on my desk for 4 weeks and not review it because I don't have time. Like, do you have any idea how important it is to work on your company, like on the company and not just in the company in the daily grind or whatever, fighting fires? I really didn't like how he just put my list to the side as if it wasn't important, because it's his company and I would expect him to want to grow the company because he has the most financial stake in it. But, he can do him. He can do him. And then what really just made me snap was one day in another meeting, he said to me, like, Annie, what would be a great idea would be if we could put an FAQ on the website, because our administrative employee is like answering frequently asked questions all day long on the phone, the same questions to the people who walk in, the same questions via email. So it'd be great if we had an FAQ on the website where we could just direct everyone toward the answer so that she can free up her time. And I said, yeah, oh my gosh, of course that would be great. And because I know how to do website related stuff, that's why he was mentioning it to me. I could do that. I could put that on the website, but I need the content. I don't have the questions and I don't have the answers. Like, I don't know what they are, so I wouldn't be able to create that content myself. So the next day, I had emailed that administrative coworker of mine, just every time somebody asks her a question, just take 5 seconds down to write down the question. And then she doesn't have to write down the answer, but at least like note down the question. So then like maybe after 2 weeks, she would have like this whole list of questions and then we can write the answers and then we can put it on the website. Later in the day, I had gotten an email from my boss and he had said, Annie, what I said to you yesterday in the meeting about the FAQ website, it wasn't to tell you to implement the idea. It was just to tell you I thought this would be a good idea, but it wasn't like to tell you to go ahead with it. And I thought to myself, like, this is an FAQ. Like, it's not a big deal. It's a small little thing where you just take 5 seconds to write down the question. And he said to me that I had made her feel like threatened for her job, as if like I was coming after her job. This was definitely outside of my department. It's not accounting related. So apparently I was making the people at my job feel very intimidated and fearful for their job. I thought to myself, like, after that moment, like, I have this list of 25 ideas that are not getting implemented on just because one person just let it sit on his desk. And also this like really easy idea to implement that wasn't even mine, but his idea. He said it was just an idea and not to implement it. I thought it would be like a great thing. If I had an employee working for me, I told them like, wouldn't this idea be great? And the next day you found that this person had the proactivity to just go and do it without you asking. I think this would be a great thing, but apparently other people don't think likewise. That's the reason why I don't want to work another job. It's because I feel like if I work for another company, the same thing is going to happen. There's always going to be people above me or people around me who are going to feel threatened for their job in some way, or I'm going to have all these different ideas on how we can improve the company, but I don't have buy-in from my team members. They don't want to do all these changes because they're not comfortable with change. And they say things like, oh, well, this is the way we've always been doing things, or like, I'm comfortable doing this way because this is the only way I know how, and I'm not open to learning new things. That kind of stuff is just kind of like off-putting. And there's a lot of companies out there, when you read on their website their mission statement and their about page and their Glassdoor and their LinkedIn and whatever, they always say things like, we promote an open culture where we actually value all of our employees' ideas. And I feel like when companies do that, they're just paying lip service to these kind of ideals and these values. I actually don't think that they actually will take all those ideas that their employees have and will actually implement them. I actually think like those ideas die in a committee. Like, you bring those ideas to the table in a group setting, and it's like, person A just goes, I don't think it's a good idea because blah, blah, blah. And then another person is like, I don't like this idea because blah, blah, blah. And it might not be because the idea is not a good idea. It could be a great idea. But the problem is that a lot of these people might have these office politics going on where there's some sort of like power play, and these ideas are not chosen based on merit and whether they're good ideas, but ideas are chosen based on who came up with the idea, if you get what I mean. And so that's why I don't want to work another job, because I just feel like I'm going to end up in another situation that's just like the one that I was in. So that's why I need to start my own company. Like, if I actually want to see all 25 of my ideas implemented, I need to start my own company. And I was thinking to myself, God bless my boss. He's in his early 40s and he's my favorite boss in the whole world. He has just been so flexible with me, and he holds a very special place in my heart. I just think to myself, like, this man is in his early 40s. He started this company 8 years ago. And 8 years later, annual revenue for the company is between 1 million and 10 million, right? It's in that range. I just think to myself, and that's with him not implementing every idea. If we could have implemented every idea, I'm pretty sure this company could exponentially grow its revenue and also its profit margin, but only because he doesn't follow these ideas. So I thought to myself, I'm 27 years old now. In 13 years, I will be 40. I'm starting this small company. What if I actually wrote down the ideas that people gave me, the advice that people gave me? And I do that. I keep all those things in a journal. And what if I actually thought about them and I followed through with them? I actually implemented every single good piece of advice that I have ever gotten. I think by the time I'm 40, I will go very far. I think I will make much more than $200,000, $300,000 that I would get from working at a job for another company. I think I will bring in multi-million dollars worth of revenue into this company just because I actually followed through with all of these ideas. That's why. I don't know how long this video actually ended up being because none of it was scripted. I hope it's not too long and I hope I didn't bore you guys. But yes, I am not driven by money. I'm driven by definitely something else. And this thing is definitely very emotional to me. I've talked about in the last video about how to maintain long-term financial motivation. And this motivation is definitely extremely strong to me. Because I work my butt off. I don't like to brag about how much I work, but I do definitely work hard behind closed doors. And then I like to come out and have all these different results and make it look extremely effortless. And everyone thinks I do things so effortlessly. But the fact is, behind closed doors, I'm constantly reading, constantly working. It just doesn't seem fair to me that someone talented and ambitious like me doesn't get my ideas implemented just because of some sort of office politics. You catch my drift? That's it for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. Give it a thumbs up if you liked it. And also be sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon for notifications every time I publish a new video. As always, if you're in the real estate industry or you're a real estate investor, be sure to check out AnnieYangFinancial.com for more content, along with the services that I offer for real estate investors. And if you want to have a personal, one-on-one free consultation with me, be sure to head over to AnnieYangFinancial.com/appointments. That's it for today, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.